Good morning. It's September 1st, and we had quite the hailstorm last night. See all the leaves on the ground here? And it wasn't as bad in our neighborhood as it was a little up in the northwest. And we just had another thunderstorm come through this morning, so it's kind of wet, kind of cluttered with leaves, and kind of dark, although there's brighter sky behind me. Temperature's comfortable though. So, I thought I'd go over into Lakeview today for my walk. Kind of go down south, just sort of go straight south and then come back once I've gone far enough. Nothing more exciting than that. But be a chance to see what it looks like after the storm last night. And as you can see under our trees here, a lot of leaves came down. I don't know if it was hard enough here to damage cars. I suspect it was, and I know for a fact it was in parts of the city. The ground was white in parts of the city after the storm last night. And everywhere there are leaves down. We saw the warning and managed to get our cars under cover. So at least shouldn't be any damage to our cars. And the house, well, the house is almost 100 years old. It's been through a lot of hailstorms. I don't expect there to be any damage to the old stucco. It's too tough for that. I haven't looked at the garden, such as it is. We don't have a lot of plants, but there's a few things out there. I'm afraid flowers may not be as flowery after that last night. Oh, it's recycling day. Well, hopefully I still have time when I get back. There's not that much in our recycling anyway, so when I get back I'll check to see if it's been picked up, and if it hasn't, then I'll get it out. We're going to go across the Albert Street Bridge here. Leaves and twigs everywhere. So my big news yesterday, aside from the hailstorm, is that I submitted The Tangled Stars, my next novel for Daw Books. Those the big ones look like they may have taken a beating. Anyway, I submitted The Tangled Stars, my next novel for Daw Books, to the publisher, to my editor, Sheila Gilbert. And that's the next step. Now I wait for editorial revisions, which will be a long phone call at some point. Then I'll rewrite the whole thing. And then, sometime next year, it'll actually be published. Slowly clearing up here. Hello. Rico, or Rico 77. I don't know how you want to pronounce that. Lots of puddles. I mean, I'm willing to walk in snowstorms. I've done that once. I'm willing to walk in rain. I've done that a couple of times. But I wasn't going to go out and walk in a hailstorm, so sorry I didn't get you any live video last night. We were under our carport in the back. It's where we had just gotten the car under when the hail started, so we were stuck under there for a little bit. It was very noisy. Here's the lake. We'll still walk around that on Friday. It's a refreshingly cool breeze this morning. Let's put it that way. Still a few raindrops spitting on me, but nothing significant. As I like to say, these are the only houses in Lakeview that actually have a lake view across the bridge. Sure, the creek is still high. It was high yesterday, and the rain certainly won't have made it any less high. Take a look. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird. Sometimes it's much more of a drop for the water out of the lake into the creek than it is right now. Raindrops keep falling on my head. I like that. That doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me. No, I'm never gonna stop the rain or drops from falling. Because I'm free, nothing's worrying me. There you go. Little musical interlude. Hopefully not enough to trigger a copyright hit. Not that it would matter. All they would say is you can't monetize the video. Well, I'm not monetizing the video anyway, so who cares? I'm a little worried about what the... I suspect that the gardens at the legislative building took a bit of damage. Well, they'd have to have. We'll find out on Friday, I guess, when we go over there. I don't want to walk down Albert all the way. Oh, I just missed the light. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, we'll go down here and jaywalk, maybe. Thought I'd go up the first street over here, and I'm just going to walk south as far as I can. Look at all the leaves down. Okay, Lakeview. Heading south through Lakeview. Until I've gone far enough, I want to turn around and make it about an hour, and then I will turn it back again. I suppose there's one thing about these trees is that they probably helped protect the cars that were parked under them. And again, up in the northwest part of the city, I think, is where it hit the hardest, based on the videos I saw online. If you want to see what it was like, you can certainly find those. It's a good day for being able to see the screen. So now that the Tangled Stars has been submitted, I have to write a short story. I also have 2 editing projects that are due in fairly short order, so still lots to do. Never ends. Plus, of course, the anthology. I have to finish that short story so I can finish the anthology, so I can get it published in October. I hope. Kickstarter version at least will go out in October. Commercial release might be November. I don't know yet. As soon as I have it pinned down, I'll put it available for pre-order on Amazon. and other places, but I'm not quite ready to commit to a publication date yet. Well, now that song's stuck in my head. Home for sale. You know, say there might be less cars parked on the other side, but maybe it's not really that different. And the next thing I'll write is World Shapers Book 4. Daw Books isn't taking it, so I'll be self-publishing that through Shadowpaw Press, my publishing company. But it will get written. I kind of hope to have it out in September because the last one came out in September, The Moonlit World, but it's not going to happen, so maybe in the spring there'll be a book 4 of World Shapers. And I have many other projects I'd like to work on, so. Words, words, words. I use lots of words. I write stories and novels. This is McCallum. Big house there. It was expanded from whatever was there originally, not that long ago. I've been in this one, I think. And I think I've said that every time I walk by it, but I think I've been in that one. Hi, Arjun. I'm good. I hope you're good too. Walking through the aftermath of a hailstorm here. That's why there's so many leaves on the ground. It hailed last night. And rain just this morning. There was another thunderstorm came through like an hour ago. So we're in Lakeview. Nice neighborhood. One of the older neighborhoods. A few campaign signs. Got the Conservatives on this side, the NDP on that side. Saw one Liberal sign back there a ways. The election is September 20th. Canadian election for Prime Minister. Well, technically for Parliament, and whoever wins the most seats becomes Prime Minister, but parliamentary system. It is my sincere hope, this is the only political thing I'll say, that we have a different Prime Minister once it's over, because I don't like the current guy. But good morning, Kirk in Vancouver. Ugh. Kicked up a wet twig that just batted me in the back of the legs. Was walking south in Lakeview after the hailstorm last night. And the thunderstorm about an hour ago. It was an unsettled night. I woke up a couple of times and heard it raining, so it was a wet night. I almost think that there's less evidence of hail the further south we come. Not quite as many leaves down. Like I said, I know the worst of it was up in the northwest. Still a little grumble of thunder here and there. It's very distant, so hopefully I'm not having to worry about lightning. Still gray all the way to the east or the west, so I don't think I'll see any sunshine during the walk. Okay, now we're at Hill Avenue. And I'll just keep going south. How long have I been out? Only 18 minutes. So at least another 10 south before I'll turn around. And then come back by a different route. We're just one block off of Albert over there, the busy north-south route to Regina. Literally runs the entire city straight as an arrow north to south. I don't think that's hail damage. I hope not. Yeah, I think there's definitely fewer leaves on the ground here, so I think possibly the south part of the city missed the hail almost altogether. If I walk that far, which I won't, but that's the way this looks, beginning to look like to me. Nice yards all along here and houses, of course. Everything green with the rain, at least. Little grumble of thunder again. Probably couldn't hear it on the mic. I can always tell where the storm sewers are stopped up a bit. That's where the big puddles show up. It's not draining well. All right, this house I've walked by before. First time I came across it, I hadn't seen it before. I was quite startled by it. It's so different from everything else in the neighborhood. New house, big house, brick house. Still heading south for another 10 minutes or so. Yeah, now there's far fewer leaves on the ground. Still a few. But I definitely feel like I'm moving out of where the hail really hit hard last night. Based on some of the video I saw, body shops are going to be busy with dinged up cars. I saw pictures of siding on a condo that had holes in it, which I thought that must be pretty cheap siding. The alleys always look inviting. Don't know why. I think it's because they are narrower and the trees close in around the north. So occasionally I walk through alleys. Saskatchewan Avenue. Two very different vehicles, one in front of the other. Can't go straight south past the next road, so we'll probably have to go to the right. Might be another road that goes down south, I'm not sure. I did walk this way once before this far. Anyway, we'll go to the right until we can go south some more. I think. See what's at the corner here. I think half an hour will take me all the way down to 25th, which is sort of the northern end of the commercial strip at the south end of Alfred. Thunder. Oh dear, I think that's an injured bird. Injured by the hail, probably. Looks like a robin. Oh dear. Oh, yeah. I presume it's from the hail. Might have been hit by a car. It'll be sad. You see something like that, but you can't do anything about it. Interesting little shaped bushes there. I guess you'd call it topiary. It's not quite. Not shaped into animals or anything, but still kind of elegant. Oh, I'd say somebody dug out the storm sewer here. That's why this stuff is on the road. Oh, I remember this house. Walking by it before. It's kind of cool. Very interesting. Low brick house with an interesting porch. A nice front yard. See, my first thought was hail on that bird, but on the other hand, there's no particular sign of a lot of hail here. So it might have been something else. I'll be brushing my head if I go under that branch. Lakeview Avenue. How long have I been out? Yep, 23 minutes. I think I'll end up going all the way down to 25th, which is kind of what I thought. In which case, we just kind of go around the corner and start back up Argyle, a block over, which I won't keep following because it angles away. But that's where we'll probably start if you're following along on Google Maps. We just crossed Lakeview. We're on, good question, Ray, maybe? Might have a different name. This is Thornton Avenue. And I was right, we're on Ray. Ray and Thornton. Anybody get bingo? Yeah, not a lot of leaves down here, so I'd say the hail did not hit this end of town. Lucky them. They just got rain. That'll be 25th up there where that car just went around the corner, so we will round the corner to the right and head north again. It's a grass on a corner lot. I'd make it, that's big enough, a riding mower might even be worth it. Usually isn't on a city lot, but that'll be Argyle over there. This is Simcoe coming up. They have square hedges, or boxy hedges, little tiny boxes. So that in front of us is the Golden Mile Center shopping mall. As I said, that's 25th. And so south of there is South Albert, which is all commercial, and which I've walked up and down once, and probably do again someday. And as I suspected, it took me just about a half an hour to get down here, a little under. You can see it all turns into commercial buildings. There's a hotel there that you can see. There's a Smitty's here on this corner, which I've eaten at many a time because when my parents used to come up from Rayburn, that was one of their preferred places to eat. So I don't know how many times I ate there with Mom and Dad. And now that they're gone, I don't think I've been there since. Nothing against Smitty's, it's just not my usual go-to place. I started a walk from here once and walked over in that area. So there's a four-way stop here. If you go to the right, that'll take you and me straight back up, not straight, angled back up to Regina Avenue and the Waterfall Park and all that stuff that I've walked through before. But I'm going to, as soon as I can, I'll move over a block away from Argyle and go back north through a different part of Lakeview. Larch Crescent, Lakeview Avenue to Argyle Road. Closed. Use alternate route. Yeah, no sign of hail down here, so I clearly walked out from under where the edge of the storm was last night, the hail part of the storm. All right, now we turn to the north. First, I guess, we're going to go around this puddle. All right, I guess I'm going to walk down this side of the street for a block, at least. And if we keep an eye out, once we see where the leaves are off the trees, we'll know where the exact edge of the hailstorm was last night. Should anyone ask? I don't think there's any point going down this one. It only takes me back to the one I just wrote down. I have to wait till we've angled a bit further. There's only one block here between Argyle and Ray, I guess, which I was on before. Oh, look at the yellow in those trees. It is September. I saw a, where was it? Utah, maybe? Where it had been 109 degrees Fahrenheit a couple of weeks ago. They had, or no more than a month ago, and they had frost warnings out. And we could certainly get frost warnings any time now. Hopefully it'll wait a bit, so we've got a chance to, have our flowers as long as possible. Although the hail may have done an early number on that. Now let me see here. I think I'll stay up for another block or so before I go to the right. The girl on the bike was giving me a curious look. Or a look of curiosity, I guess one should say. The look itself was not particularly curious, it was just a look, but it was filled with curiosity. Big new one here on this corner. All right, now we'll go to the right and pick up a different road to go north. This has more cars on it than I like. And we're starting to see twigs, so sort of just right along this block, it looks like, is where the hail started to make itself felt. Somewhere just south of Thornton Avenue, if you must know, or if anybody asks. Now, I think I'll go one more block. Oh, there's the big modern house from this side, by the way. Hi, Miriam in India. We had storms last night, so there's hail. Knocked down a lot of leaves. The further north I go, the more you'll see that. And we had a thunderstorm just about an hour ago. That's why everything is wet. Pleasant temperature, though. Humid, but not terribly warm. I may have been in that house. I don't know. There's something familiar about it. Look for a music thing if I was. Oh, there's another stuffed up storm drain. Well, all the more reason to make this the one where I turn to the right. Yeah, now we're starting to see more and more twigs on the sidewalk from the hail. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. What the heck do we care? What the heck do we care? Oddly enough, I think I mentioned this maybe even yesterday, when I was talking about tornadoes, which fortunately we did not have. Unlike back in 1912 when we had the worst tornado in Canadian history hit Regina. In Texas, the little town I lived in, Tulia, was not far from a place called Hale Center, which had been hit by a tornado. So there you go, another Hale connection. Although, I think it was H-A-L-E. It was named after somebody named Hale, not after the lumps of ice that fall from the sky. Yep, more and more. leaves down. I don't remember the wind being horrendously strong. It must have been up quite a bit. Well, I know it was because the hail was hitting the sides of things, which means it was wind blown. So we were, as I said, we'd just gotten our car under the carport at the back when it started to hail. It was very loud, so we got in the car, which was tolerable then, sound-wise, but even under the carport, some hail was making it in and hitting the side of the car. I think it was bouncing. That was our older car. Our newer, more valuable car we put underground at our place where we have underground parking at the condo where we still own, although we're not living there. It's nice to have that underground parking when something like that comes along, because we were able to put both cars. Oh, there's the sun. The sun just came out. Won't be out for long. Just found a hole in the clouds. Those are holy clouds. I'll go up the other side because I'll want to be on that side eventually. Now the lighting's changing. This is Land of Living Skies. It's on the license plate. Well, this is the same road I came down when I passed that, but I turned the corner here to go down. So if I keep going north, I'll be in different territory than I walked south along. So I came from that way when I was walking down. This time I'll carry on this way. Been in here. It's a seniors care facility. We were looking for a place for my mother-in-law at the time. That's not where we ended up choosing, and as it happened, it became moot, but we did look at several of them. I looked at them in Weyburn too, and with my mom, so there was that period of time when we were the sandwich generation, aging parents and young daughter. No parents left now, just the daughter. And now we're the aging parents, I guess. Got a ways to go before I'd call myself aged, but we're all aging. One day at a time. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Maybe write a country song. Or a hymn. There have been a few. Farther along, we'll know all about it. Farther along, we'll understand why. Cheer up, my brother, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. There's an old one I remember. I remember a lot of old ones. I grew up going to church 3 times a week. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. Every night, every service, lots of a cappella singing. So I sang all 4 parts in church. Started as a soprano, boy soprano, then I was a boy alto. Then I was briefly a tenor as my voice changed, but very quickly it kept going and I ended up as a bass, as you may be able to tell from my speaking voice. Have a good range though. I can sing fairly high, and so far at least I haven't noticed any age-related deterioration in my voice. In fact, it's probably as good as it's ever been. Last few years it's been working well for me when I sing. Which I'll be doing again soon. We're starting rehearsals for a show called Guilty Pleasures And they're sort of, you know, songs that really stick in your head. This is Regina Lyric, which is, or Lyric Singers, which is the part of Regina Lyric Musical Theatre. Concerts at the end of November. We'll be rehearsing starting next week. I go pick up my music tonight. Rehearsals will be interesting because we'll all be wearing masks and sitting far apart, so we'll see how that goes. I think everybody has to be vaccinated, so I'm not sure that that's entirely necessary, but people are, well, I'll get into what I think people are when it comes to COVID. That was probably an ultra-modern house when it was built. That just looks quaint. Again, seeing more and more leaves. Still not as much down as we have just a few blocks north where I live, and nothing like what they had in the northwest. Ah, you sang that song too. I'm not terribly surprised. I was in a show at the Station Arts Center in Rossthern called Tent Meeting, which was a show set in a small town in Alberta where during the Depression, I'm going to move over another block, I think. Sure, why not? And this fellow who used to sing gospel had kind of lost his faith because of his farm drying up and blowing away. And his fellow he used to sing with comes to town with a gospel quartet. And there's a bit of a history there between them and also with the guy who's the farmer's wife. So there's tension and there's all of that, but there's also lots of singing, and it was double cast, so we were all double cast, I mean. So we all played two parts. Except for the guy who played the preacher leading the quartet. He played just the one part. But the other four of us, oh, and I guess Deb, who played my wife, also just played the one part. So those two were just single parts, and there were another four of us, and we played two parts. So I was this farmer, George, but I was also a young member of this gospel quartet. And there was the guy who was the pool hall operator. He was also played part of the quartet. And then there was the preacher in town who also doubled as one member of the quartet. And so a lot of the show was gospel music, and I knew some of it, not all of it. I was actually surprised at the ones I didn't know. I don't think any of them were written for the show. I think they were all old numbers. The one that started it off was Up above my head, I hear music in the air, up above my head. I hear music in the air, up above my head. I hear music in the air, and I really do believe there's a God somewhere. I may have made up the tune at the end of that, but that's how it started anyway. So that was a lot of fun to do. And it was a long run. It was 6 weeks, so 30, 35 performances, something like that. Had great fun doing that. That would have been in 2000, I think, or 2001. No, it would have been in 2000. 2002, I did another summer show in Estevan. Called Cocktails for 200. And that was another long run. Just a two-hander, me and Marianne Woods. But I haven't done a summer show since. That was the summer that Alice learned to walk. She was 1, a little over 1, 2002. And then after that, my summers were more family focused, and I didn't really pursue. Tibor Faragazi, who was the artistic director of Persephone Theatre in Saskatchewan, who was the one who directed Tent Meeting in Rosthern, actually asked me then to be in a show on Persephone. So the fall after I did that summer show, I did Who Has Seen the Wind in Persephone, and then he asked me to do Rosthern again the next year. But Alice was about to be born, so I said, no, sorry. I'm going to stay home for the birth of my daughter. And he never asked me again. I can only think that if you turned him down, he figured that was it. I was a bit disappointed. I didn't pursue it too much. Again, as I said, I had family, but I still felt there might have been some, what? You're putting your daughter's birth over my show? Because there is that tendency in theater to believe that acting takes precedence over everything. And I suppose if you're trying to make a living at it solely, well, and it might. I mean, had that been my only source of income for the family, I wouldn't have turned it down, but I did. I did do another Persephone show, but it was after Tibor died. I did Beauty and the Beast up there, but that's now been, this Christmas it'll be 14 years since that show, which is hard to believe. So my theater has dwindled in the last few years. I hardly do anything anymore compared to what I once did. And of course, there's been no theater during the pandemic to speak of. If you look on here, you'll see me singing. If you look on my YouTube channel, you can find me singing with my wife, singing a solo. What else have I got up there? A couple of solos of me singing. You can see my daughter Alice singing, and you can see me singing, How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, from Sound of Music, all 4 parts. So check out the rest of my channel. More and more leaves down now as we get closer to home. Getting more into the hail territory. Anyway, but I do have this Lyric Singers concert coming up, so it'll be good to sing again. The one with me doing Maria was for a previous Lyric Singers show, which we did entirely online. And it was an entirely virtual concert, so if you look, you'll see I appear to be standing in front of I forgot which road I'm on. I'm on Retallick, so I need to go over a couple more to get the footbridge. Oh, actually, I'll go back the way I came. We'll go through the park a little differently. So I did it in front of a green screen, which they then, and I sang all 4 parts, one at a time, and I knew where each character was supposed to be relative to the other. Of course, I was 4 nuns, and I would look in the direction of wherever I would be when I sang whatever the line was I wasn't currently singing. So it was a bit of a mental exercise, and there's might be a spot or two where it could have been done better, but considering it was just me and a tripod doing it by myself in the living room, I think it turned out pretty well. It was a lot of fun anyway. So check that out if you haven't, here on my YouTube channel. And as I said, you can also see me singing a duet with my wife, and you can see my daughter Alice singing. And there's a couple others of me singing solos. Some getting quite long in the tooth now, from many years ago. Others more recent. Now that I have, actual subscribers to this channel, I may do more on YouTube. More writing related stuff as well. There's a bit on there, but I could certainly do more. Well, there's someone that's decidedly liberal. Went for the extra large. Yeah, this worked out. We'll go through here and pick up the path to the footbridge. I've been in that house. Director of exhibits at the Saskatchewan Science Centre lived there when I first came to town. Long gone now. Don't know who's there now. That sounded like the recycling truck. I hope it hasn't come to our alley yet, because I didn't do it before I left. So I'll pull that out as soon as I get in here. All right, we're going to go down along the path here. Now, yesterday I had tons of unstable internet connection warnings, and the feed failed halfway through. I had none of that today, so it's got to have something to do with the camera just adjusted to the dimness under the trees here. It's got to have something to do with the atmospheric conditions. Because if anything, I'd expect it in here with the bushes and trees and fence all around blocking the signal, but so far, nothing. It's been smooth as silk as far as I can tell. Don't know what your experience has been, but I've been watching. And again, it's berry season. Those aren't edible, but they're colorful. I suppose they're edible for birds, but not for us. Lots of them there. Bit Christmassy, actually. Looks a bit like holly. Holly and the ivy, when they were both full grown. Wrong season for that. I'll save singing Christmas songs till I'm closer to Christmas. You can see the leaves changing on some of the vines as well. More and more yellow popping up here and there. Down there, quite a bit on that one. And across the footbridge we go, of course. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. That's a Thanksgiving song, so can't sing that yet. And it's an American Thanksgiving song, so you really shouldn't sing it till sometime in November. Our Thanksgiving, of course, is second Monday in October. And this weekend, of course, is Labor Day weekend. Holidays don't mean a lot to me, except my wife is home. All right, there's the creek. The Looking quite still. It wouldn't have looked that way when the hail was hitting it last night. And t'other way. We'll go down here this time. On the dike is where that path takes you. At least that car had a tarp on it last night. We had one of our cars years ago now. We were in Calgary for a science fiction convention and a big hailstorm blew in and mostly didn't do anything, but one extra large hailstone must have hit because there was a major ding. I think it was in the hood. That was annoying. This tree clearly took a beating. It's a bold color choice. Ah! Stepped in mud. It's been a little slippery in spots with the leaves. Oh, quite a bit of yellow showing up in that tree. Another bold color choice. One more block over to Metallic, 2 blocks north, and we're done. How long have we been out? 8 minutes, pretty much a perfect hour. The Bavarian house, as I like to call it. The turret. And the interesting shingles. That's an original garage. They have narrower doors than people tend to make their garages now. one more block. Oh, there's a dog coming down my side of the street. I'll avoid him. See lots more leaves on the ground from the hailstorm. All right, but I have to go over so I can stop in front of the stop sign. Because that's where I always stop, right after we reach the 1 hour mark, so pretty much a perfect 1 hour walk. Didn't get rained on, didn't get lightninged, didn't get hailed on, so a successful post-storm walk. Thanks for walking with me if you're live, and thanks for watching the recording if that's what you're watching. Bye for now.